Yes, sir. We're back for another episode.
I'm still tired from them push-ups.
That's what you get for betting against me. I told you.
Are you
I
mad?
I do this. I do
Hey,
this.
wait. Hold on. This is the first time this is the first time you've been right with me in playoff basketball.
I'm like a savant when it comes to
Don't
playoff. Like
don't let me
I
don't let us bring up your record.
all right, whatever, man. You see, okay, side note. Do you see this guy? I guess he put like a bet like earlier
Saw
in the
that.
year.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
where he
Crazy
had the
bet.
Spurs and the Knicks.
Crazy bet.
That man cashing out.
That's a crazy bet. Because those odds,
I mean, yeah, no one had
no
them
one
in
has
the
Spurs next. No,
at
no
least
one
the
had them.
Spurs. Yeah, no one had the Spurs in the finals. So yeah,
Yeah.
crazy odds, crazy odds.
It's all good. It's all
All right,
good, I mean.
but
Like Drake said, Muggsy Bogues gets a dunk every once in a while.
no, that was a great line. Like, no, that was a good one. That was a good one. Nah, he had bars and Iceman. Like, I would
Yeah,
say,
bro.
okay. Have you listened to Iceman and like, have you really listened to it? How do you feel about it?
Come on, man.
It's
Thoroughly.
solid.
For sure.
Nah,
This is
yeah,
the old Drake. This is the
it
Drake
was a
with the
solid album.
bars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, this Drake with the bars. This the Drake we've been looking for. Sometimes you gotta, somebody gotta beat you up for you to remember who you are.
But no, that was a good one. His bars on that album pretty good. Like that Aiden Ross one,
Yeah,
that was a
yeah.
good line.
Yeah, no, I was listening to it and I was like, I know that there's something here. And then it just hit me and I was like, oh,
No, like that was a good one.
that was a great bar. Yeah.
Did you listen to any of the other albums? The other
Not,
two albums?
not worth my time.
Yeah, yeah. Same. I feel like he honestly just did that to get out of his deal. I feel like that's what he did.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
did
yeah.
that like to get out the deal. Like, okay, let me give y'all three albums. Like, but the main one is Iceman. Like,
It,
this is
it,
what people are gonna listen to.
it also adds to how spectacular of a release date it was. Like you dropped a great album and you dropped two other ones. So it's like I really do this music stuff. I dropped three
Hmm.
albums at once. Like
Like how versatile he is for
it's
sure.
just Drake being Drake. You gotta respect it.
All right, okay. That's a good interlude before we get
Yeah.
into the episode.
All right. So
Uh
getting into the episode, let me ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how promotable are you right now?
hmm. Okay. If I'm being honest, I'll say a 7.5. I think I'm at that point where obviously I have the experience, I have the skill set. Um, but I think the way that our promotion cycle works, I know we just had a couple promotions last year, and so I'm not too familiar. I've only been in the company for maybe like a year and a half or so I'm not too familiar with how often people within a team get promoted. Also because the person that's my manager right now just got promoted to that position. So I don't know if I can get promoted or I think we'll probably have to bring in some like junior level people on our team, and then probably that would be like a signal that okay, now I might have some people that I can be manager over or something like that. But if I'm being honest with myself, I'll say like 7.5. How about you? What do you think?
I say like a 5 for me because I recently did an internal transfer. I got promoted. So there's still things I don't know. There's still things I'm learning. But as far as like the impact I bring and like, I guess the value I bring, I think it's there. I mean, but I'm still very new on my new team. I've been on my new team since February. So not even 4 months yet.
No, I mean, I think that's good. Like we both have different, I guess, answers of what we feel, how promotable we feel that we are. I think it's important because we're gonna touch on that going into today's episode.
Yeah.
With that
You know,
being,
y'all say y'all need a junior. I would join your team, but if I was working under you, we'd be in HR because you're not be talking. You're not about to be sending me emails following up.
I mean, I feel like I'm pretty respectful when it comes to that. I'm just like, I mean, I'll just like, okay,
Nah,
follow up.
I'm gonna have to walk over to your desk. I'm like, what is that? What is that you was talking about in the email? Let me hear you say it in person.
But I mean, we're gonna touch on that whole culture of like, okay, talking to people at work, talking to older people or people you're not too like familiar with. Like there's definitely a culture around it and you
Thing
have
for
to
sure.
be more comfortable with it. With that being said, welcome to episode 14 of Common Sense Pod, where we are documenting our journey as two first generation Nigerian-American millennials trying to figure out financially. Hopefully, we can all learn a thing or two as we embark on this journey and share our experiences. I'm your host, Umar, and with me is my co host, Dami. Before we get into today's episode, make sure you follow, subscribe, like, share the video. It's one of the best ways you can support what we're doing and keep the content coming. Today, we're going to be talking about how we can engineer a promotion at work. We're going to be talking about how you ask that question, how you have that conversation at work, some of the things you want to avoid when having that conversation, and what happens if that conversation doesn't go your way. After that, we're going to move on to our favorite segment, Is It Making Sense? Where we throw out real life scenarios and see if it's making sense or not. And to end the episode, we're going to have our economic events for the week and weeks to come. With that being said, let's get into today's episode. So you might be wondering why we're talking about how we can get a promotion at work. Well, to us personally, or for everyone, most people listen to this episode, your income from work is probably your most powerful wealth building tool. That's really what you're using to invest. That's what you're using to pay for bills. That's what you're using to save. That's really what you're using to do it. Like, that's the reason why you're working. If you didn't need that income, you probably won't be working, as some people might not. And so you want to make sure while you're earning this income, you're maximizing it as much as possible. Every year that you're not maximizing your income, you're leaving money on the table, which ultimately affects you from compounding that income over a long period of time. For someone that's earning, let's say you're earning 100K year one compared to someone that's earning 120K, that person has 20K more purchasing power. They can use that 20K in the stock market. They can use it to put a down payment on an investment property. They can use it for so much more than that person that doesn't have that promotion. Because with a single promotion, you can easily increase your salary by 10, 20, 30K, however high that next level is. And so you want to make sure you're maximizing your potential as much as possible to get that compounding effect, and that allows you to do a lot of other things that makes it easier for you to build wealth and set your financial picture a lot more better. All right, with that being said, Dami, can you tell us why most people never get promoted?
Sure. So I'll say there's a general misconception when it comes to getting promotions or being recognized at work. Most people think that just by working hard, by showing up, you'll be able to get promoted, you'll be recognized at work. But in reality, that's the bare expectation. That's the bare minimum. You're supposed to come to work, you're supposed to do your job. So
Yeah.
how do you get promoted? Well, think about it like this, right? Working hard. Yes. Is working hard something that's required in your job? Yes. Will working hard help you get a promotion? Yes. But working hard alone is not going to get you the promotion you're looking for. There's a system, there's a there's a few things that all work together for you to be able to get a promotion at work. So just by coming in to work and doing your best every day, is it admirable? Yes, but that alone is not going to get you promoted. Then another one is being liked. Being liked will not get you promoted. It's just is what it is. Being liked alone is not going to be the thing that gets you promoted. Just like
It
working hard.
it
When
helps, but yeah,
yeah,
it's
it
not the only
helps.
thing.
It helps, but like by itself, being liked is not going to get you promoted. We all know one person in the office who makes everyone laugh, who's a office clown, and we all love that person. But that person probably don't do their job well. We just keep them around for
Mm.
good vibes. We just keep them around because they have good energy. So but those two things are reasons why some people are not getting promoted. And then I would say the third one is probably just like people are waiting for their turn. You're in your job, you're in your position, you've been in that certain position for the past 3 years or however long, and you feel like eventually it's going to be your turn to get promoted. Unfortunately, that's not a reality. Being promoted comes with proactiveness. It comes with, stepping up to the plate. If you're just waiting for it to happen, you're not going to get promoted. Uh, it's a sad reality, but it's the truth.
And another thing, I think people think that promotion is just by doing your time and doing your work. I mean, that's honestly like the bare minimum, as we said. Like that's doing your job. Pretty much, that's doing your job. What you want to do to get that promotion is how can you stand out. So we're not talking about, oh, you need to work harder. We're not necessarily doing that. we're hoping that maybe you're already a hard worker. We're trying to put together a system that makes it easier for you, that's putting you in the right spot. So one thing you want to make sure, like I just said, you want to make sure you have that performance already locked down. You're already a hard worker. You're delivering what you need to do. You have that already checked out. The next, you want to be visible. So doing the work is good, but you also want to make the people that are making that decisions aware of what you're doing. So that goes back to, okay, sending emails to CCing your manager in your emails, responding to questions that people might have regarding the business questions, whatever you're doing, um, going out of your way to take on projects, side projects that can help drive business, and efficiency. These are things that you can do that increase that visibility, not just to your manager, but then to your skip level, to other business partners. These are things that you want to have checked out. So visibility is the next one. Now you want to focus on timing and positioning. The timing is, we all, one thing you want to be aware of is that promotions happens in cycles. So you want to know when promotions usually happen. Like I mentioned earlier, promotion happens in the later part of the year after they've done delegations, like throughout the mid-year going into the new year. So usually going into Q1, that's when they finalize what the promotions are. You want to position yourself where you're delivering a lot of these business results. You're delivering value to the team. You're showing how valuable you are during this period, because that highlights what you've done in the past year or the past quarter, and lets you stand out when it comes to making that decision. So once you have all of those things together, put together, your performance, your visibility, your timing, and your positioning, now you're in the forefront of everybody's mind when it comes to promotion. You're in the forefront of your manager because he knows exactly what you're doing. You're in the thought process of your skip level because he's aware of what value you brought to the team. These are all things that helps you position yourself, helps you engineer that promotion, and takes you just from an everyday person that does the work that they're supposed to do to, this is someone we're advocating for to get the promotion over everybody else within the team.
Solid, solid. And one thing to add there is getting a promotion could be out of your control sometimes. You know,
Hmm.
there are things that happen within corporate America that could hold you from getting a promotion. There's nothing you can really do about it. Some of those things might include like budget freezes. Like you just mentioned, there are certain times of the year where promotions are more likely to happen or they're less likely to happen. During a budget freeze, your company might be running into financial problems where they're not able to promote anyone because they're really tight on their money. And because of that, you can't get promotions. Because of that, they're not hiring anyone. There's nothing you can really do about that. It's just what's going on at the moment. Organizational structure. That's another one. For example, like if you're working in a department and you're working under the VP, and you've been doing your job for the past 5 years. You've been kicking butt. You've been doing the best you can do possible, and you're qualified to be the next VP. But if the person that's VP hasn't been promoted or is not leaving their job, there's nothing you can really do about it. There can't be two VPs, you know. So that's just a barrier that you're going to have to face there. And I say another one, which I guess you kind of have control over this, but there's nothing you can really do about it, is manager issues. If your boss doesn't like you, you're not getting promoted. Simple as that.
Unfortunately,
There's nothing
there's
you
not
can do
much you
about
can
that
do
one.
about that.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about that one. So it is what it is on that. Um, so moving on from why people don't get promoted or some of the things that are out of your control as to why you can't get promoted. Kind of walk us through a framework in which you would use to get promoted, Umar.
Okay, perfect. Because this is the part that everyone wants to know. Like, okay, they're in their job right now. How can I get that next promotion? I'll say the first thing you want to do is know what the role requirements are. So I think a good analogy for this is that you can't get to a destination if you don't know the address. So you can't get to the next role if you don't know what the criteria and the requirements are for the roles. So do you need to increase your tech stack? Do you need to add some skill set that you don't currently have? Do you need to be in more leadership roles? Do you need to provide more value to the team? Like, what are the things that separates you from your current position to the next position? Once you highlight those differences, that's kind of the framework and the requirements that you want to start working towards. That allows you to check to see if you checked off those requirements, or maybe you need to start working on adding those skill sets to what you currently have. That's a good way to know where you land in terms of getting promoted without even having that conversation with your manager yet. If you feel like you have everything that needs to be promoted, okay, that's good. Now you're moving on to the next step because you feel like you have everything you need to do for that next level. I'll say the next thing then is becoming more visible. If you feel like you have the required skill set, now let the people that are in charge of making that decision or advocating for you, let them know that. That goes by delivering quality work. That goes by taking on stretch assignments. That goes by making sure you're CCing your manager in all of these emails so they have some recollection. You have to be aware that your manager is not just a manager to you. And most times they have other people reporting to them. So they have to be aware of what everyone is doing. If they're not seeing your emails, if they're not seeing the projects, if they're not seeing like um, documentation of what you're doing, it's going to be kind of hard for them. You can't expect them to know what you're doing while they're managing everyone else and managing their work on top of that. So being able to document things properly or let be being able to be more visible to your manager, that's something you want to do. And those are some of the ways that you can go about doing that. Once you've done that, now you have to document everything you're doing. Make sure you're diligent. This is something that I wish I started doing earlier. But one thing I started doing is that after every project, I document what it is that I did. So I document, okay, this was the business problem. This is how I went about accomplishing it. And this at the end of the project, this is when I delivered it, and this is what the said return or the value is said to be. I usually do that after every project because if you're waiting to do that at the end of the year, it's kind of hard to remember everything you
Mm.
do like from month to month. And that's
Yeah.
kind of like that's going to affect you if you're not accurately showcasing everything that you did. So you don't want to miss anything. So usually at the end of the week, what I usually do is that, okay, what did I work on this week? Document that, and then I have like a rolling document of where I add to that every week. At the end of the year, now it's time to just refine it, or whenever you're having that promotion conversation or end of year conversation, you can now refine that to make it more developed, more concise, more technical. And it makes your work a lot easier rather than just remembering everything that you did throughout the year.
Facts, facts, facts. I would add, right there is you gotta understand that your manager is not the only important person
Yep.
for
Yep.
um for your promotion. So like you mentioned, your manager is going to be advocating on your behalf. Your manager is going to be speaking on your behalf, but your manager is not the one making the decision. Your manager is in conversations with their boss, which is your senior or your skip level manager. They're in conversations with other people from potentially other departments or seniors in your department. There could be HR there. There could be people from the finance department there. So understanding that um your impact should be felt by more people than just the person directly above you.
Manager. Yep.
Your boss's boss should be able to advocate on your behalf as well. If you have a mentor, if you have someone of a higher position who can speak on your behalf, that's also very beneficial. So putting yourself in that type of situation, making it such that a lot of people can speak for the work that you do is something that's very valuable and can help you in the pursuit of a promotion. Then timing matters a lot. We mentioned it, we touched on it briefly, but like trying to get a promotion in Q3, Q4 is a lot different from trying to get a promotion Q1, Q2. Because at the beginning of the year, every company resets their budget. They plan for how the year is going to go. And more times than not, by the end of the year, you realize you overspent on your budget. The last thing you want to do is add more money. So you're not going to get a promotion at the end of the year because there's no money for it. But in the beginning of the year, all the money is available for them to spend however they want. So trying to get a promotion towards the end of the year is a little bit more difficult than trying to get a promotion at the top of the year. And then another major thing within this conversation is just knowing your market value. So in the pursuit of a promotion, in before you have a conversation with anyone or before you start making steps in it, you kind of want to have an understanding of what your market value is. What do people who are in your position, what do people who have similar experience to you, what are they getting paid in the market generally? What type of salary are companies offering for people who are in similar situations, have similar experience to you? What are they offering to those type of people? Because then that'll give you a better idea of what your value is. It'll also give you something to negotiate with should you get into the position of getting a promotion.
Yep. I mean that goes a long way with helping you negotiate a promotion, whether you're ready for a promotion or maybe okay, maybe that's not the time. And I think the next thing that I guess the next step would then the ask itself, like asking your manager, okay, what does it look like for me to get promoted? I think people are usually afraid or not comfortable asking this question. But what I say is that you're in charge of your own career. You can't expect someone to have these conversations or make these decisions for yourself. You have to take control. And like we said, you want to maximize that your income as much as possible to help you build your financial, to help you build your wealth. So having that conversation, you want to approach it the right way. So what I would say is like, ask your manager, what does it look like for me to get promoted by so date? When you bring up that conversation, now it lets your manager know that okay, this person is serious about this, and it allows him or her to give you a specific answer. Maybe they don't see you on track to be promoted anytime soon, or these are the things that you need to do to be promoted by this specific time. So, but with that conversation, it gives you the requirements or lets you know where you
Steps,
stand. Yeah, it gives you the steps or lets you
like a
know where you.
roadmap.
Exactly. It gives you the roadmap to know whether you are on track to get promoted and what that looks like. So going back to how you want to ask the questions, there are some things that you shouldn't do when you're looking to get promoted. Dami, what would you say some of those things are?
So if we had to like segment why people don't get promoted or things you shouldn't do, this is probably the biggest one is waiting to be noticed. You should not wait for someone to say, "Hey, you deserve to be promoted. Let's promote you." That's the wrong way to get a promotion. You have to be proactive. In fact, part of the reason why you're getting promoted, if you get promoted, is because you're a proactive person. No one wants
Yeah,
a passive person in a position of management. No one wants a passive person in a higher position than what they already are. Because when you're promoted, you're given more responsibilities. And if you can't even be responsible for your own career progression, you're not going to be pushed into a higher position. So I'd say waiting to be noticed is one there.
that's a big one. That's a big one. I like how you touched on like anyone that's going to be promoted, automatically you should know you're going to have more responsibilities. And so if you don't have what it takes to take responsibility in your own career, how what is the guarantee that you're going to be able to perform well in the next position? So that was a good point. Another one that another mistake that people do is that they confuse being liked with being promotable. So we mentioned that being liked helps, but we all know that one person that they focus too much on being liked. And do you ideally see them being promoted over someone that's doing the actual work that they should be doing? Most times not, because just because you like doesn't mean that you're delivering, doesn't mean you're performing well. So just trying to suck up to whoever it is that's making that decision, that wouldn't necessarily get you far. And so focusing on that rather than actually being a high performer, being more visible, delivering results, that's one of the mistakes that people make. Yes, you want to be likable, but you also want to lean more towards being high value and being a high performer.
Hmm. Yeah. Another one there would be asking for a promotion without evidence. You you go explain, no evidence.
No evidence.
Like Umar
Nah,
mentioned.
that's a bad one.
No, it's a really bad one. It's a really bad one. It's like you're entitled. You mentioned it earlier about documenting your projects and keeping up with the stuff you do. You can't just ask for a promotion. It's the way corporate America works is you got to have some value, you got to have some impact to teams that you're on. And the easiest way to present that is by you being able to present that, being able to convey that. And
Yeah.
if you don't have no evidence, if you don't have nothing to show about the work you've done, you're not gonna, you're not gonna get a promotion.
Not getting promoted. Yep.
It's just like applying for a job with no resume. You're not gonna get that job.
No, that's true. That's true. You you want to make sure you have like a solid business case as to why you should be promoted. Like, what did I do throughout the year? What are some projects that I led end to end? What were the results of the project and how it brought value? Like, those are the things you want to highlight. So, like Dami
Exactly.
said, that's your evidence. That's what you're taking to court and like, okay, this is you're giving it to the judge. This is what I did and why I should get what I want.
Exactly.
Another mistake that people make when trying to get promoted is that they only focus on maybe their manager rather than their peers within the same team. I think this is one that gets overlooked, but we all know that the person within the peers that assists the most or is willing to help the most is most likely the person that is going to get promoted because one, they're most knowledgeable about what's going on. That's why their peers are coming to them. Two, it shows that they're able to take on more responsibilities. They're able to help out within the team when the manager is not available or the manager is not being called upon. These are things that set you apart, and then that also makes them visible to their other team members because they know, okay, if we have a question, if we don't want to go directly to our manager, we can always ask him or her because they know they're knowledgeable, and that automatically gives you more visibility. And so if this person does end up getting promoted, their peers within the team would not feel any type of way. There won't be any animosity because they know that, okay, this is someone that we can always go to. This is someone that deserves it. This is someone that has been putting that effort into getting promoted. They have the skill set that's necessary for this next position. And so that goes well, or that works well within the cohesiveness within the team. So you also want to make sure that you're focusing not just delivering or being visible to your manager, but also being available and assisting other peers within your team as well.
Yeah, yeah. Last one from me. I would say skipping the conversation of what does success look like or what do I need to accomplish to be promoted. Skipping that conversation with your boss, I don't want to say it's a waste of time, but it can make the journey a lot longer than what it should be. So it's like you mentioned the roadmap earlier. If you're working towards a promotion and you haven't had this conversation with your boss, you could be doing the right things, but you're not able to refine what you're doing. So it might take you 2 years to get there. Whereas if you have the conversation, you can stop focusing on some of the things that don't matter, some of the things that don't add value, and focus on the things that are required for the position you're trying to be in. And the journey might end up taking you half the time. So I would say you have to have that conversation, or avoiding it is a mistake for sure. Uh, but speaking of that conversation, what does that conversation look like for you, Umar, in trying to plan or get a roadmap for how you can be promoted?
Yeah. Okay. So I feel like this is the one people probably struggle with the most because, like we mentioned, this is not a conversation that necessarily comes easy for a lot of people. If it does, kudos to you. But like Dami said, you want to be proactive. Never wait for your manager to bring up promotion conversations. Like that shows that, okay, maybe you don't want it. Like if you're not asking for something, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to give it to you, even though if you feel like you deserve it. So
Hey,
being more
yo.
pro. Oh my god. But yeah, but being more proactive with trying to have that conversation with your manager, that's the first step. So ideally, like what I've done in the past is that I'll go on my manager's calendar, set up like a 30-minute or an hour, however long you feel like the conversation needs to be. Once you do that, send like a quick message or send like a Teams message and be like, okay, I set up a meeting with you because I want to discuss like my future within the team. I want to discuss my career goals. I want to have a career-based conversation. That way, it lets your manager know, okay, what type of conversation he's walking into. So he's not walking in blind or he doesn't know what exactly that we're going to talk about. And once you've done that, now this is where like you go in and bring up that promotion conversation. One thing that you shouldn't do is you shouldn't start with, I think I deserve a promotion. Like Dami said, I think that's being more entitled to it. You're not entitled to promotion. This is an objective view based on a couple other people's point of view. You want to make sure you're being objective when it comes to that. So don't feel entitled to it, but also don't be too passive either. Just saying that you want to know where you stand. You know you want a promotion, so don't don't be scared to say that. The ideal way to go about it is say, okay, I've been on the team for X amount of time. I have these skill sets. I feel like I want to be promoted by a certain amount of time. What does that look like for someone with my experience, with my skill set, and how can I get there? That breaks down that conversation like really easy for your manager to okay let you know where you stand. They can either tell you that, oh, I don't feel like you've had enough experience or you have enough skills for the next level, or they can tell you you're on track but maybe you need to work on this and this. You need to work on leadership, you need to work on owning a project. Like these are things that once you break it down in that way, saying okay, given a time frame, explaining why you think you deserve a promotion, that lets your manager be more direct with having that conversation with you.
Yeah. Um, one thing I like one thing I liked about what you mentioned was preparing your manager for the conversation so they don't walk into it blind. So
Mhm.
that can really change the value you get out of the conversation. So if they come into the conversation blind, now they're having to think about the questions you're asking them on the spot. Whereas if you prepare them for it, maybe send them like a quick note, however you want the meeting to flow with some points, it allows them to prepare for it. They might go through all the emails you sent them in the past year. They might go through the projects you submitted, and now they're able to have better context for with the conversation they're having with you. They can talk about your strengths, your weaknesses, et cetera, et cetera. So definitely want to let them know of the conversation you're having. You might not give them all the details, but give them enough so that they're able to prepare for the conversation. So after all that you said, Umar, I think the next thing would be to make documentation from the conversation. So
Mhm.
definitely I would assume that in the conversation you're taking notes, you're writing things down. But after that, send an email to the manager. Send it showing appreciation for the conversation, but you're also using that as a form of documentation to show what you guys talked about on that day. You can say thank you, Mr. Yada yada yada. Tell them how I appreciate you highlighting these points, my strengths, my weaknesses. Over the next 6 months, I plan to work on this, that. It's just you're not putting the ball in their court, but you're almost setting it up so that when you do these things in the next few months, you can say that, well, this is what we talked about on this date, and I did all of these things. I'm in line for a promotion at that point.
Yep.
Then you can
Mhm.
kind of be entitled about it. But before that, you can't really be entitled. And hopefully things go your way at that point. So that's that. Um, and I kind of jumped the gun a little bit on it, but ask for a timeline and include it in the documentation. So you want to definitely make sure you ask for a timeline in the conversation because that'll let you know how feasible this plan is or whether it makes sense for you because you might be really close to it and they tell you that you can do all of this in the next 4 months and you'll be up for the next promotion cycle. Or you might have a lot to work on and your boss tells you it's going to take you about 12 months, maybe a little bit more than 12 months to get there. And you might be willing to put the work in, or you might decide you want to reevaluate your options and look for alternative options because of that. So that's a good thing to do is just understanding what the timeline looks like because your boss, your manager knows better than you. You're trying to get to the position they're in now, or you're trying to at least get higher than what you are, and you've never been in that position. So they would know better in that situation as to how you can get there.
No, yeah, pushing for a timeline, that's really important. So one thing I wanted to highlight is that you don't want to leave the meeting with with just a vague explanation. You don't want to leave the meeting feeling more confused than when you went in. So you don't want to know like if you don't have a specific answer of when you can get promoted, you didn't get what you wanted out of that meeting. So make sure from that meeting you're pushing for specifics. So if they're telling you, okay, not yet, not now, push for, like Dami said, push for that timeline. When do you think realistically, when do you think I can? Or what is it that I'm missing? What do I need to do to show that I want that promotion? That shows that, okay, you're serious about this and this is what you want, but also like let your manager give you that roadmap, as we said. And then if it ends up being that, okay, maybe a promotion is not in the future for you on this team, now that's confirmation. That's don't take that as failure. Take that, okay, I received the information I wanted. Now what can I do that's in my best interest? Do I want to stay on the team to prove myself to get end up eventually getting a promotion, or do I want to take the next course of action? The reason why I'm saying this is because, as we said, not maximizing your income is drastically affecting your how your wealth can compound over the next couple of years. So you want to make sure you're doing what's right for your career at that point in time. So Dami, what if this person has followed the framework that we've set in place and still they're not going to get promoted in their position?
At that point, you gotta take your talents to South Beach. You gotta, you gotta do something. You gotta make something shake because
Yep.
unfortunately, the reality about corporate America and life as a whole, sometimes things are out of your control. And this all you can do is all you can do. You tried your best, you did everything you could, and things still didn't go your way. It's nothing you can do about it. All you can do is pivot at that point and try to do something different. So we talked about it earlier in the episode about how sometimes things are out of your control, budget freezes, organizational hierarchy, or just things going on within the company. They might be stopping you from getting a promotion and you already done everything you can do. So what do you do at that point? You explore your options. One of the things you can do is look for a lateral move within the company, or you can just look for an internal transfer. Those are really similar options, but they're a little bit different in the sense that an internal transfer could be technically a promotion depending
For
on what
sure.
you do.
Yeah.
I recently
Mhm.
did an internal transfer. I went from data analyst two to data scientist two. So I was able to make more money because I moved to a different position. Whereas there's the alternative, the other option I mentioned is a lateral transfer where you're moving to a position of equal level to where you are, and there may not be a pay bump in it. You're just basically on the same level doing something different. So those are two alternatives because they put you in different situations. Maybe you're able to build upon skills that you might need there. Maybe you're able to do something different and pursue a different career path from there. So that would be a good option to go to from there.
Those are good options, like trying to find an internal move. Like you said, you can get a promotion by switching teams internally. That works as well. But if you're on the end where you feel like you've done everything, you've had that conversation with your manager, you've been able to show that you have the skill set, you have the tech stack that's required for that next role, and you still didn't get that promotion, like Dami said, it might be time to take your talents elsewhere. You'd be like, GG's, I'm out. I need to do what's best for me. So mm, I think because not doing everything right and still not getting that promotion that you want, that's kind of a slap in the face because you asked for the requirements from your manager, but you still didn't get what you want. So I don't want you to people shouldn't feel like emotional in those situations. It's just
Discouraged.
more, yeah, they shouldn't feel discouraged. It's more of like that's how corporate America could be at times. And now that lets you test out the market to see, okay, maybe I should be somewhere else where I'm more valued.
Yeah, yeah. That's a solid point, and that leads me to my next point. Test the market. You might have to test the market, get out into the job market, start applying for jobs, and see what companies are willing to offer you when you start sending them your experience. See what other recruiters are saying about you. You could learn one of two things. Either you learn that your company wasn't valuing you for what you expected yourself to be, or you learned that your expectations were a little bit high and that your job, your manager, your boss was right in some of the things you were saying. Maybe you do need to stay in your position for another 12 months to develop. You do need to stay here a little bit longer and you have that humbling moment. So testing the waters, there's nothing wrong with it because it's just how you can gauge yourself to the market. Athletes do it all the time. When a team doesn't want to pay them, the team tells them go test the market, and sometimes they come back and end up signing with their team, or other times they find a better deal. I mean, Dennis Schroeder, he did it a few years ago, and it's like that's like
That didn't work out too well.
that's like the worst situation in history. What was it,
Yeah.
like 100 mil, and he ended up signing for he had like 3 years, 100 mil, and then he signed like a $2 million deal or something like that.
Like a vet
A
minimum or
veteran
something.
million, something crazy like that when betting on yourself goes wrong. But yeah, I mean, sometimes that's what you gotta do, and it becomes a lesson that you learn from. But
Yeah,
anyways, let's move on from that and move on to the part of the episode that I usually enjoy. And this is where we get a little bit more vulnerable and talk about our experiences. So, as we always mention, Umar and I are first generation Nigerian Americans. So, talk about what it's like navigating as a Nigerian American professional in the corporate workspace, and what pursuing a promotion might look like, or how some of the struggles you might face in that position because of your background.
definitely. I mean, I think we can both relate to this, especially like growing up, mainly like growing up in Nigeria. There's some like behaviors that we're taught in our household that can kind of be counterproductive in the professional space. I'll say one that stands out specifically is that cultural humility that we have when it comes to like just doing our work and being humble about it. So most times growing up, your parents might just tell you, okay, like they want you to be humble, no need to brag, no need to show off. I remember vividly, like my mom would buy me something new. She would buy me like a phone or something. And then I wanted to take it to school, like to show off. And but like my mom would be like, you don't want to do that. Like you want to be humble. Like people don't really need to know like what's going on in your household and stuff like that. That can I mean, that's a good trait to have. Yes, you wanna be humble, but when we're talking about in a professional space, that might be counterproductive because
Exactly.
you want to show that, "Okay, I have the skills that I have, and I know I have the skills that I have, and I want to show how it's beneficial to the team." So there, you want to, like, kinda boast about what your skills are, why you're valuable, the value that you bring to the team, how you can help other people in the team. Those are the things that make you stand out and make you more visible. So yeah, like I feel like that's kind of one that stood out for me. Where okay, I mean, I'm one that like I'm a hard worker. I think that goes without saying that most Nigerians are hard worker, but you can't just get that promotion you want just by showing up and being a hard worker. You have to let people know that you're a hard worker. And most time people are not going to know if you're not showcasing that and being more visible to people. So I'll say that was the main one that I feel like as a Nigerian American, you have to be comfortable with switching that behavior.
Yeah, that was a good one. What was the first phone that you got? What was that phone that you're referring to in that story?
Phone, damn,
I
let me,
I actually know the phone.
you know,
I know the phone. I actually remember it.
is it the Nokia N Gauge?
The N-Gage,
Is it
you
the
had the
N
games
Gauge?
on it.
The game one? Yeah, yeah, that one.
Nah, that phone was goated.
That was a
That,
good
that,
one. Bring
that wasn't a phone. That was a Game Boy.
that was a game high key. That was PSP before PSP.
Nah, it was a PSP. Facts, facts. For me, one of the behaviors I actually had to learn is, I mean, going to school in Nigeria, you don't look at people older than you in their face, in their eyes. You look at someone, you get in trouble. Why are you looking? Don't look at me. It's slap your
That's
face. Don't
right.
look at me. Why are you looking
Am
at
I
me?
a mate?
Am
Am
I
I
a
a
bit?
mate?
Exactly, bro. It's very different. Growing up, being raised and conditioned to not do that, and then getting into the workspace, um, where you're having conversations and you're expected to be able to maintain eye contact, be able to look people in their eyes. It's just
Yeah.
not, and it's something that's counterintuitive for you. So it's something I definitely had to adjust to, and something I had to uh a habit I had to break, for sure, for sure. But I would say another one is the code switching, and you know,
Oh, that's a big one.
it's not an easy thing. Code switching is definitely, I mean, I would say everyone code switches from how they are at home to how they
Whether
behave
yeah,
at
from
work.
how they are outside, yeah. Mhm.
Exactly, exactly. But there's some of our code switches are a lot more major than other people. And I think as Nigerians, especially foreigners specifically who come from another country, not even us that are first gen, but people who are grown up and raised in another country and then come here and start working. I can imagine the dynamics of working in a corporate office and the code switching is pretty difficult. You know, you start using grammar and English that you don't use on a daily basis. You start talking
Let's
about
touch back on that. Let's touch
yeah,
on
you
back.
start talking about how you need to follow up, you know, you learn, and I'm pretty sure you go through a experience where you know, you might get in trouble or you might go through a situation that it leaves a lesson with you. You learn that in the future, when someone doesn't respond to your email, you got to CC your boss on it next time so that they can see why the project wasn't done, it wasn't your fault, you know? It's just little
High
things like
key,
that.
high key. That's like dry snitching, but you have to do
No,
that.
facts. That's a great analogy right there. Working in corporate America, you gotta learn how to snitch a little bit. You gotta be a dry snitch, for sure. You your boss asks you for an update on a project. Next thing you know, you're sending somebody an email. You put your boss on it. Just following up on this email. I haven't seen an update from you in 3 weeks. Is everything okay?
Yup,
You
yup,
know,
yup.
crazy stuff, crazy stuff. But yeah, that code switch is definitely a thing, and you gotta learn it. You gotta learn it for sure.
Nah, yeah. I mean, yeah, that was a big one. I think, especially like, thankfully, like we went to school in America, but people that are just like just coming like from African or like foreigners, like you said, they might not be privy to some of like these like terminologies or just being comfortable with talking in that language because most times like when you're talking about code switch, some things don't really translate to your language. And so you're like, okay, now you're confused about like what they actually mean and stuff like that. And these are probably some new things you have to learn, like new cultures. And like that's one I think that one that we just mentioned that where you have to be accountable, like letting people know that okay, if you have a deliverable, this is like I'm not trying to snitch on you, but like I'm not trying to be in trouble either.
Yeah,
Like
uh-huh.
that was one thing that you have to be observant of, but because if your manager is not aware of that, they automatically think you're to blame
You're at
for that.
fault.
And
Yeah.
you don't, yeah, and you don't want that issue. So being able to navigate that is especially is an interesting dynamic, especially from someone that is not too familiar with how corporate America works.
And to add on to this, we don't have to touch on it, but there's also there's a high level of passive aggressiveness
Oh,
in
very
corporate
much
America,
so, very much so. And
and
you
you
don't
gotta
wanna be
learn how to
that person.
navigate it.
And I mean, going back to just being like Nigerians, you don't want to be that person that crashes out where it's just like,
Facts.
so
Facts.
because someone was rude to you, because someone talked to you a certain way,
You go to powerful office.
oh my, they just call HR for you.
Nah, you're going to HR straight. You're going to HR straight.
So I mean, no, that's a great point, Dami. Like that passive aggressiveness, like you definitely see that, and then because like for Nigerians, most times like we're not
We're
passive
not
aggressive. Like
passive at all.
if
Yeah.
we have an issue, like we're telling you like to your face, like guy, I don't like what you did, or don't do that again, stuff like that. But if like in the workspace is a lot different. Like it's more of like, okay, now they're not inviting you to meetings. Like if
Mhm.
I'm supposed to be in a meeting, why are you not inviting me to a meeting? So
Exactly.
that's kind of that passive aggressive. So you don't want to crash out, but there's definitely a way to navigate that.
You got to dry snitch. You got to snitch.
No, that was a good one. That was a good one. All right. So moving on to everyone's favorite segment, is it making sense? This is where we bring up real life or made up scenarios, mainly by Dami, and we try to see if it's making sense or not. All right. So I think I have a good one for you, Dami.
Last time you said that, well, I guess I did like that one. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm figuring out how I can get you to,
Disagree
to
with you
yeah.
or to show my true colors. That's what it is.
All right, okay. All right. So yeah, I think you would like this one. Okay. So you have this young man. He's been passed over for a promotion about 2 cycles now. He's been waiting for that promotion. He didn't get it. So instead of having a direct conversation with his manager about why that happened, he starts going quiet. He's not engaging with the team. He's not contributing in team meetings. He starts doing less work. You can tell that he's not totally engaged. He's even at work on LinkedIn looking for new jobs. without ever having a conversation with his manager as to why he's being passed over for this promotion. Is that making sense or not?
If you're applying for jobs on company time, on company computer, you are reckless. You
That's a wild man.
you a wild boy for real.
That's wild. That's wild.
Secondly, you didn't get what you wanted, and now you start acting emotional, boy. You soft. No, I mean, I feel it, but you gotta address the situation. Nah, it's not making sense. You gotta address the situation. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't get the promotion. I mean, you're not gonna get most things you want in life. A lot of stuff you want in life,
Facts.
you're not gonna get it. You don't just get upset and start, applying for jobs, doing less work. Now you're about to get fired. You're not gonna have no job.
I
So
know. Yep. Yep.
yeah, go talk to your boss, go see what's wrong, like we mentioned earlier in the episode. Go see what you can do, go see what can be done. If nothing can be done, yeah, then you apply for a job, but don't just start applying for jobs because they passed over you and you don't even know why they passed over you. It could be
Yeah.
a company-wide thing and it had nothing to do with you. It's not making
No.
sense.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. I mean, it's understandable to be upset if you've been passed over a promotion, thinking you were due for one or expecting one. But you wanna, so it shows that you haven't even had a conversation to see if you should be promoted. But you want to make sure you get some feedback. Like, because with having that conversation, one, it lets you know, okay, maybe what is the actual reason why I was being passed over? Do I not have what it takes to have the go to that next position? And if that's the case, what do I need to work on? If you do have everything that it takes, now it lets you know that, okay, like Dami said, there might be other issues or it might be time to just leave that position. But without having a conversation at all, you're left in limbo because you don't know exactly what the reason is, and that doesn't provide any type of feedback for you to improve on. I feel like anything can be used as a learning lesson. So even if it's a situation where you're not pleased about or you're not happy about, you can then use it as, okay, because I was passed over, my manager told me I need to work on this, let me do that. Or now I need to find another job because I'm not being valued here. But that feedback is important to know what your next step is. You shouldn't just be emotional, like Dami said, and be drastic and be soft and just make a decision just out of nowhere. But yeah, that's not making sense. Get clarity for sure.
Get clarity. Yeah, definitely. All right. I got one. So we have Jordan. And Jordan's a mid-level engineer. Their next promotion cycle is coming up in 6 months, and he schedules a meeting with his boss to go over things that will get him promoted. He's made it clear to his boss that he wants to be promoted, and he's having this conversation. The boss gives him a list. He's able to execute on that. He sends monthly emails, updates to the boss, and when the promotion cycle comes around, he does not get promoted. Thoughts, if it's making sense or not?
And he doesn't get promoted. I thought it was, you caught me off guard. I thought he was going to get promoted after doing all that. But I mean, this is the ideal situation that we've talked about. Like, this is the ideal framework. Like, he set up a meeting 6 months in advance to try to have a conversation with his manager, saying that he wants to get promoted. He received that roadmap. He received the checklist, did everything that was on there, sent like documentation, sent weekly, monthly updates on how he was able to accomplish those things, and then he still didn't get it. I mean, that's tough. That's basically like a slap in your face that, okay, I told you to do all of these things, but you still didn't get it. So on the organization part, that's not making sense because you shouldn't like say that if you do all of these things, you're gonna get a promotion. But from what Jordan did, that's pretty much what we were preaching and what the steps should look like if you're trying to get a promotion. So I would say he did everything right. And like we said, now it's time to go because you're not being valued.
Exactly. Like sometimes things are out of your control. There's nothing you can do about it. And if he was willing to do all of that for a promotion, I'm pretty sure he can find another job and he'll get what he's looking for.
Hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Those were two good ones. I guess we agreed, but they were both not straightforward. All right, now let's move on to the final segment of our episode where we talk about economic updates, things going on in the world, political updates, and things that we've noticed in the stock market or things we're paying attention to in the stock market this week. Where do you want to start?
One that just happened not so long ago, we saw that Anthropic is filing for their IPO. I think this is quite interesting on a number of occasions. One, because of the whole IPO cycle that's happening right now. Anthropic is not the only company that's looking to IPO in the near future. You have SpaceX, you have Canva, you have DocuSign. Well, not DocuSign. Dropbox, sorry. But yeah, so you have a bunch of these companies that are looking to IPO. But one thing that stood out was that they're doing this before OpenAI. I think that's quite interesting. What is your take on that?
My thoughts exactly. I'm a little concerned for OpenAI now. Like Claude was supposed to be the secondary AI.
Model, yeah,
Yeah, it was supposed to be the secondary one. And every few episodes we come on here and we talk about how Claude is doing something and how OpenAI is not. And now they're IPOing before you, and I believe they're more valuable than them now. So like it's a little bit concerning from my point of view, specifically because OpenAI is the one that Microsoft and all these other big tech companies invested billions in. So I'm interested to know if that's going to affect Microsoft, if that's going to affect some of these other companies because OpenAI has not IPO'd, and Claude IPOing means that people are going to jump to that one and invest in it first. So
invest in it. Yep.
OpenAI is going to get the scraps.
That's what it's looking like. That's what it's looking like. I was listening to something. I think the main issue was that OpenAI is having a lot of I mean, they've had like issues in the past, like the whole Sam Altman and Elon Musk
Elon Musk.
lawsuit.
Yeah.
That was an issue. And then going back to when Anthropic said that they weren't comfortable with surveillance from
Mhm.
being a surveillance model for the US government, OpenAI was took over that contract, and so that made people more concerned about
Step
their
away from it.
security issues. So it's like they're doing a lot of these things that's kind of like that's tarnishing their image. I mean, oh, like ChatGPT is like their model is still good, but it's like this one is tarnishing the image, but Anthropic is also doing a lot of work with Claude, where it's become like the go-to model for like technical work or just like workflows and stuff like that. Like with our podcast, like Claude is what we use to
Yeah.
kind of do a lot some of the workflows that we do as well. So
Not some,
it just
all of
shows.
it. Not all of it.
So it just shows. I mean, I'm gonna tell you about this later, but I did like a whole workflow with Cloud Code. It's pretty cool. But I mean, yeah, it just shows you like how like even with like retail investors, how that shift is happening. So but yeah, like you said, like if Anthropic is IPOing before OpenAI, like OpenAI that brought AI to the forefront,
Forefront,
it's
yeah.
it's
It's
kind of
concerning.
tough on them. Yep.
Yeah. Not to mention, in my opinion, I think OpenAI took the government contract because they were falling out of favor. So they were trying to look
Mm.
for something to get, if people are leaving us alone, at least we can go with the US government. And that's like guaranteed favor, I guess, in that aspect. Mm,
All right. So
we'll see.
is the president, is he a day trader or is he like a trader? What's going on there?
Nah, he's a businessman, and
He's a
that's what
business,
we've all known that from the beginning. He's a businessman because
but a reason he's treating the presidency as a side job.
yeah, he's definitely a trader first. He's an investor first. He's an investor first for sure. I'm about to say like they put out the list of companies that he's invested in. All of them
Hmm.
are booming. All of them.
No, it's I mean, what can we say? Like he mentions whenever he mentions a companies like okay, like he mentioned IBM. We saw what happened with that. He mentioned Dell. We saw what happened with that.
Intel.
Palantir, Intel, like these are all companies that okay, he's actively investing in. We can see these trades. At what point does it become insider trading? Because I'm confused.
No, no, no.
I,
That's not the right question. That's not the right question. At what point does it become insider trade is not the question at all because we already know what it was. What's the next company? That's the question. What's the next company? I need to go buy it.
so now we're just
Go
gonna
buy it.
follow what he says.
Follow what he says, bro. You can't even fight it. Just follow what he says. Like it or not, people are getting rich. And I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not gonna let how I feel about anything keep me from making money when other people are making money. That'd be stupid of me. Just being real.
You said away with ethical investing.
Bro, am I gonna say I'm better than the president or I'm better than the 1 million people that are benefit off of this? No, I'm trying to get some money too.
Yeah. No, I mean, that honestly, that's like the whole sentiment in the market now. Like once Trump says something, most people are looking to buy that because he
Yep,
said it.
yep.
But like honestly, that shouldn't be the case. Like that's clear
Fair
market
market
manipulation.
manipulation. Yep.
So it's quite interesting times that we're living in, and it's crazy that it's even being allowed. That
Who gonna
well, I
stop
mean,
him?
yeah.
Who gonna stop him? We just gotta wait. What
Oh
we got like 2.5 years. We gotta see what happens after the next 2.5 years. But
yeah.
yeah, Oracle and Broadcom up next.
That I mean, if you're following the watch list, we already put it on there. So
Yeah, watch list went crazy.
okay. Another interesting one. Did you see that Robinhood is allowing users to use AI agents to do trades?
Not
How do we
only
feel about
are
that?
they allowing them to use AI agents to do trades, they're also allowing them to use the AI agents to make credit card purchases, which did not make sense to me, but it turned me off even more because why would I let an AI agent use my credit card? How lazy do you gotta be to have an AI agent to make purchases for you? You can't even make your own purchases no more?
I mean, that's kind of where we're going, where people like they're like leaning more to giving control to these AI because one, they feel like they're smarter than them, and also they might not understand what they're doing, and so they're like, okay, let the AI agent do this. But honestly, that's dangerous territory because there's still a lot of ambiguity when it comes to AI and AI agents as well. So, what if like it decides to make some type of crazy purchase on your card? What are you gonna do then?
Mhm.
So,
I
but
saw
I mean,
something I saw something where they were saying that the AI agents are fighting each other and doing bad things to one another, like, setting each other up and et cetera, et cetera. Kinda crazy. They're acting just like humans.
yep, yep. I've seen articles where they say, "Oh, the AI agents have like personalities and stuff like that."
Mhm.
So
Yep, yep.
it's quite interesting, because I feel like AI as a whole is still like a black box. There is no clear understanding as to how it's constantly getting smarter as it does. It's just we're just feeding it computing and we're feeding it data, and then we come out with a new model. I feel like that's kind of like how it is, and so giving it an AI agent account, access to your account to trade your real money, that's different. I'm not sure if I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy, it's a little bit scary. Um, let's see how it goes for real.
But I mean, Robinhood's stock went up like 20% off of that news. So I mean, some people are excited about it.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. I'm not a fan of it personally, but, I'm old-fashioned.
Yeah, he likes doing his analysis, his technical analysis himself.
'Cause, I mean, I just think of it in the sense that, like, you're letting the AI agent control your analyses, like, using it for support is a great idea, but letting it
Yeah,
have full autonomy of your
full
investments
autonomy.
and stuff.
That's different.
Alright,
Yeah,
we just mentioned how the AI agents have personalities and emotions. What if yours is the one that gets depressed? Because depressed is a word they've used, like, an AI agent is depressed.
by the press. Yeah.
And now it starts revenge trading and putting you in bad investments, or you lose all of your net worth because of something that you gave full autonomy of your investments. I'm just not a fan of it.
Yep, I agree. I'm right there with you.
What else we got? What else we got? Um, FOMC is coming up. Kevin Warsh, the Fed, they're having their first FOMC June 16th, June 17th. I don't think anything special is going on from that. They're not going to cut rates apparently, but they're talking about increasing rates. You and I talked about that a few episodes back on how we're more likely to get a rate hike than a rate cut just because of how the economy is.
Market is going, yeah.
Yeah, and it's looking well. No, not the market. The market is great. The market is great, but the economy is the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of the market, Umar, I meant to bring it with me, but I got my green jacket now, I got my green jacket.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I got my
sir.
green jacket. So for
For the
those
for
that
the
don't
people. Yeah,
Go
for
ahead.
people that don't know, what do we mean by green jacket?
A green jacket means that you hit 1,000% on a trade.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
1,000%. Nah, that's legit. Like that's legit. What
Can't
trade
lie.
was it?
I can't lie. Emotionally, it took a lot out of me to get there.
To hold it?
To hold the trade. It took a
Yep.
lot. Um, but it was Oracle, and I got there relatively quick, if I'm being honest. I mean, I bought the contract in February, and today is June 1st.
Yep.
But I'm bringing this to the podcast because Oracle has earnings in like 2 weeks, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna do really good. But I only have one contract left. I sold everything really early, around like, I think I sold most of them around 100, 200%, and I sold my last one around like 3, 400%. Now I have one
Mm,
contract that's up a
a
thousand
thousand
percent,
percent.
but it doesn't expire until January. Let me know your thoughts below. Should I hold it past earnings, or should I just take my profit and keep it moving? Let us know. Let me know. I'm very conflicted. I'm not gonna lie. My gut is telling me to hold it because I have until January, but the trader with risk management in me is telling me to take what I got and
Take the
re-enter.
profit. Take the
Yeah.
profit. You're up 1,000%. I mean, I feel like you've already
I gotta
done
get
what
2,000 though. If I got 1,000, I can get 2.
uh
Let's see what the people
but
say.
yeah, let us know what you think he should do. Let us know.
Anything else going on in the economy?
I mean, I think we've talked about this multiple times, but just touching back on like the SpaceX IPO that should be happening also in the near future. But one thing that we're starting to hear rumors of is that SpaceX and Tesla might actually be having a merger.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
that.
so that's gonna be interesting. So one thing that I didn't even know until I started looking into this is that Tesla had like a 2 billion equity investment in SpaceX, and so they already have investments into SpaceX. And so a merger doesn't sound too crazy, but then it also gives like Elon a lot more controlling power because with Tesla, I think he only owns about like 20 to 30% of the shares of Tesla. But with SpaceX, he owns majority, about 80%. And so if he can merge both companies, that gives us a lot more controlling power within Tesla because he can also use SpaceX as an investment opportunity for the Tesla investors. So that can dilute their shares in Tesla. So it's quite interesting what can happen if he merges both companies. But that's giving one man a lot of power. A lot. This
And
we're
a lot
talking
of money.
and a lot. Well, yep. I saw somewhere that it might even help him like with his whole pay package that he has with Tesla. Not too sure of the details, so I don't really want to talk about that. But combined, these companies can be worth like $3.4 trillion. That is insane.
If you've
What
been watching this podcast, you know that for a fact. 2 IPOs Umar is buying is SpaceX and Anthropic. Very passionate about them. He's keeping us updated. So,
I mean, I probably won't buy it starting out, but like,
but I'm
I
saying you'll be
mean,
invested in the companies for sure.
I'll like what I mean for sure. I will like look for a good opportunity to get into those companies. But yeah,
One thing I
definitely quite
saw is
interesting.
that Tesla and SpaceX actually share a lot of the same employees apparently. So
Mm,
some of the people that are working on AI within Tesla are also working on certain things with SpaceX. So I guess that
interesting,
merger kind
interesting.
of makes sense.
It can't, yeah.
But from what I saw, one of the major conflicts they were having is how they're going to value the company if they're able to do that merger. Like, how do you how do you give a valuation to $2 trillion companies who come together, who do different things but do similar things at the same time? And what
Yeah.
does that equal out for the stock price and just overall valuation? So I think that was one of the major conflicts I saw. But like you said, that is giving a lot of power to one man that is not even an American citizen.
But no, definitely, it's definitely interesting to follow. Like these are things that we're definitely going to follow into the like whenever the IPO, see how that arrangement ends up happening.
Mhm. Interesting stuff for sure. Definitely interesting stuff. Um,
Anything else?
mortgage rates are up, but we know that already. Mortgage rates are up. I think it's like a 13 or 14-month high.
Mm. Excuse me.
I mean, I don't. There's not like a major change. It's just the way is where we are in the U.S. right now. The economy is not great, so mortgage rates are up. Um, it ties in with our FOMC conversations. We just gotta watch and see what happens.
Okay, interesting. But yeah, I think that's mostly most of the news, economic updates that we had this week.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Any last updates before I close us out here?
I mean, like we said, we're not telling people that they need to work harder. Hopefully, you're already someone that has a good work ethic. We're just talking about how you can maximize your income because that helps you build wealth over a long period of time. And so, putting yourself in a position that makes you get a promotion a lot easier. That's kind of what we want our listeners to take away from this episode.
I will add on to that. Umar and I are two different people. You're not working hard enough. Keep working. You can always work harder. You can always work harder. In fact, you're not working nowhere near as hard as you should be working. Keep working. But I agree with the other stuff you said. Cool. All right. On that note, I'm gonna round this out. Let me think. This episode was a really good one though. We don't want to just always talk about the stock market and the economy because people live regular lives too. So if we can bring
Mhm.
some value to you in your job and your everyday work, hopefully that's something we're able to do in this. And if you have a friend or if you know anyone who is looking for a promotion at work or maybe they're going through some things at work, send this episode to them and hopefully everything they need is in this episode. Hopefully you learn something and they learn something as well. Um, but thank you for joining us for another episode of Common Sense. We appreciate you guys. We'll catch you next time. And this has been episode 14 of Common Sense, where we're trying to make sense of our sense. Thanks.
Peace.